Well, hello there, friends. I got a new one for you. Here we're gonna be working on the bus again, of course, because it's a bus video. But I'm super excited, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. So part of the reason why I'm excited is because I've been having issues, and that's not really a good reason to be excited, but I'm gonna tell you the reason why I've been having issues. I think I found the solution for it. So, and this was not something that, unfortunately, I knew beforehand. It was something that I had to figure out. So we're gonna grab our tools in this nice dark garage room type thing. So here's the deal. What happened was AC was working perfectly fine, and then when I got home, bus sat for a little bit, and then the heat didn't work on the way back. Well, that's unfortunate. So I switched up and started working on or trying to fix the vacuum hose line, and I fixed that. But then I was still having issues, like it wasn't fixed yet. I'm like, well, that's weird. And then it got cold, or it got hot. I tried to use the AC. The AC wasn't working, and the compressor's not getting on. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Something's not right. Well, I think what I figured out is that the vacuum pump is not working. So right down in here, there's typically a little like lid thing that goes right there. And when I got the bus, it would literally have, it was loose, and it would just like, it would tap back and forth. Well, that's now gone. And from what I read online, which this is actually really interesting, most people say that when your vacuum pump goes out, like it's out, it's done, nothing, like it, catastrophic failure. Well, I read, at least somebody had shared, that they had one that was still pumping, but it wasn't doing well enough to get the systems going. So I lost AC. The functions on the dash are not very good, or they're slow, and hard start issues and that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm going to take this out, replace it. We've got a huge trip tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on tomorrow, Saturday, that we're loading the bus up for, and then Sunday we're leaving to head out to New York for an entire week, leading worship out there. And I want to make sure that everything's as tip-top shape as we can. I checked the fluids already, and we're good on the fluids, but it wasn't quite running very well when we went into church the other day, and I think that was part of the issue. The other part of the issue was I forgot to plug in the air box when I was messing with the alternator. And when we drove up to Michigan, I was like, man, something just doesn't feel right. Like, this thing was running phenomenally well, and it just doesn't feel as good as it did when I was going down and back to Texas, outside of the heater not working. So I'm going to replace that. I'm hoping it gives me my heat back with the blend door actuator actually working. We'll see if that works. And then hopefully, with having the air box plugged in, because I'm going to remember to put it back in this time, hopefully that'll work. So first thing I'm going to do is take the air box off so we can get to that, take the belt off so I can take the old one in. Then I'm waiting for an email from O'Reilly to tell me that it's ready to go. I'm going to take Corin with me. We're going to go pick it up, put it on, and hopefully everything's going to work the way it's supposed to. So we'll keep you in the loop, but first, air box has to come off. I'm sure this has been absolutely riveting so far. Basically, all I'm doing is loosening bolts with my fingers, because once they're kind of knocked loose, it's not really a great way to pull them out, other than just keep unthreading it with your fingers. So I got my hand wedged in here pretty good, trying to get this off. And so far I got one full bolt out, and the other one's pretty close, and then the other one that's up here on top is literally just a little bit stuck, but looks like it's starting to come. So sorry it's not as cool of a time lapse. I wish you could see what my eyes do, but half the time I'm not even looking at what I'm doing, and that's because I can't see either. So I got eyeballs for fingertips. That's false. But it does amaze me at how, I'm sure when people built these cars originally, they had, well, they just added things on top, right? So as you needed a new piece here and there, you just, you know, you start with the engine and then built everything out from there. So the mechanic side of it, of going back in and fixing it, it's a little bit more of a challenge. But I will say, it seems like, to me at least, this challenge is nowhere near as difficult as some of the other vehicles that I've had to work on, unfortunately. Like that Dodge Journey that I had for a little bit, that was a pain in the butt. I did not like that car at all. So, we're almost done. Hopefully this thing will come out. And then once we get it out, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Well, this came out a lot easier than the alternator did. Alright, well, seems like that's working. But what I noticed, there used to be a little cap that went on top of here, and that has obviously busted some of these things off. And so I think what happened was just not making enough of what it needs to. So we're going to take it in, swap it out, and hopefully this is what our problem is. We can get it fixed and get everything back on the road. All right, well, we will see whether or not this fixes the AC problem or not. It did seem like it had a lot of suction when I was taking it off. Not sure if that noise is good or bad, but hopefully having a new one fixes the issues we had. If it doesn't, hopefully we can figure out yeah, a way to, I don't know. I'm hoping it was just not giving off enough. I don't really like replacing parts that aren't broken, so I don't know if this one seems like it's creating pressure and suction and that sort of thing, which means if this isn't working, or if it's not working, then there might be something else somewhere else that we need to fix. So we'll see. We'll try to trace it down, and yeah. All right, so I got an email from O'Reilly that my part is ready to go pick up, so I'm going to go pick it up. And since I've got the other one, hopefully we'll get the core fee for that one, which will be nice. So it'll be $10 less expensive. However, after pulling the other one off and doing some more internet sleuthing, I'm less confident that this is going to fix all my issues. Which just means that I think it's still the system, it just might not be that part of the system. I don't know, we'll see. Because other people who had issues with it, it wasn't as tight as what it is now. So I'm less confident. Anytime I put a new part on the bus, I know that it's more of an investment thing, so that it's fixing something that could fail down the road. I don't really like just replacing parts or replace parts, but worst case scenario, it doesn't exactly fix everything that I needed to, but I at least know it's not that part, and it's going to be a part that I hopefully won't have to replace again. So I'm really hoping it's not that, really hoping that it just fixes everything. And if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, again, we'll just, worst case scenario, we're going to drive to New York without any air conditioning in the front of the bus. The good part is the air conditioning that's in the back of the bus is working phenomenally well. So that's a positive. The other part of all of this too is it could be that the AC compressor is just totally kaput. And if it's that, that's another one of those things that I don't feel confident in replacing before the trip. So we'll just run with the AC stuff that's working already, roll the windows down, and at least the back half of the bus will be nice and cool. Front half of the bus might be a little warm, but we're gonna go swap this part out, grab the new one, install it, and a lot of the questions we have right now will be answered. Hopefully all of them. All right, well, picked up the new one, and that little cap that blew off, the one that I had that was on there was always loose and kind of jiggling around. This new one is on there super tight. So my guesstimation is maybe but that just keeps enough air and pressure inside of it while it's going around to keep things going. So maybe it held enough air when it was stopped, but didn't hold enough while it was actually rotating. I don't know. I'm a little bit more optimistic now. But if nothing else, it's a lot newer and shinier, so we'll make the engine look newer by putting stuff on it. So, time to head home and put it on. Alrighty, so we got the new part in, and we're gonna go ahead and install it. Again, we'll see whether or not this guy is gonna be the solution to all of our problems. Here we go. All right, so you can see it down in there. It's got the cap on it. So we're gonna go ahead and fire this bad boy up after I get the air box back on here. We'll get that on, fire it up, see if it worked. All right, moment of truth. Well, it looks like that didn't solve the immediate problem of no AC, but I did figure out that at least the vacuum lines are run properly, which is good because it means that I didn't mess something else up. So the downside is I still don't have AC for the front of the bus. The good side is at least, or actually it wasn't turned on, so let me that'd be super awesome if all of a sudden it miraculously worked. But I flipped the check valve around just to see, and then the AC stuff, or the blend door stuff wasn't working at all. It was just staying on defrost, which is what other people had problems with. So the good part is now, I mean, I still have fan, I still have control to be able to go from vent to AC to floor, all that stuff. So I'm just gonna have to try to figure out what's going on. Maybe it's a thermostat issue to where it's just not telling things to kick on. So anyway, bummer that it doesn't work right now, but we'll just keep working on it and figure it out. All right, final consensus on this project thus far. I cleaned the contacts on this little guy down here, double checked to make sure that's all good. Everything actually seems to, and I know it's some of it's because it's warm, but everything seems to be actually starting up better than it ever has, or at least recently. And everything's running well, and actually the controls on the dash are a lot better right now. At least they seem to be responding faster, which is good, because that was one of the things that they said was a problem if it was you know. So got an upgrade as far as the vacuum seal, which again, good. Doesn't solve the problem, and I'm not getting heat or AC. So my guess is it's something to do with some sort of temperature control, which I'm going to go to the drawing board and see if I can do some research and find that out online. I don't know if it's going to get fixed before we head out to New York, but at least I know that I'm not going to have an issue with brakes, because that was the other thing that I was a little worried about with the vacuum. So we'll wrap this up tonight. I gotta go in for dinner, and we got some other stuff we gotta get ready for, but that was this is kind of par for the course as far as what happens to do with the bus. Is you try to work on it, try to figure it out, and if you do, great, and if you don't, oh well. So this is an oh well case, and yeah, so I'll let you guys know when I find out. But thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see y'all soon. If you want me to come out and do a show and bring the bus, one, I got to be able to drive there if I'm going to bring the bus. If you're too far away, I'm going to fly. Sorry. Unless I can get a bunch of shows with you and a bunch of other people all along, because that would be fun. That was one of the things I was thinking about doing. Actually, almost had the opportunity to do it last year when I went out to Idaho. I was trying to get a handful of gigs on the way out, and just wasn't able to get those strung together. But can't wait to come see you guys. So for sure, let me know if you want me to come do a house show. I'll leave the link down below. And for now, I'm gonna close this bad boy up, go eat some dinner. See y'all soon. All right, so we are not giving up tonight. I'm actually back at O'Reilly, believe it or not. And after we were having dinner and I just couldn't get out of my head, I was like, there's got to be something else wrong. This part, somebody said, hey, you should replace this. This is the first thing that if they ever have people who have issues specifically with no heat, no AC, this is the very first thing that they fix and put on there. So they pull it off if it's rusted, which obviously you can see this is very, very rusted, and the springs were actually touching before I pulled them apart a little bit. But so that's what we're replacing. The new one, I will show you. We just looked at it in the store to make sure it was going to work. But the new one is very much not rusted. Again, going with shiny parts. So we're going to go put this one on the bus and see whether or not that actually fixes it. If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, the next thing to chase down is actually going to be the temperature control unit, or temperature control switch, which is actually in the bus. That is what allows you to select how hot or cold it is. That's the next go round, because I'm not getting AC or heat. So hopefully this will at least get me one of those, and if it gets me both, great. I'll probably still at some point in time try to replace those switches, just because that's something that somebody said goes bad pretty quickly. So we got a half hour before 9 o'clock. It's supposed to start raining, so I'm going to try to get home so we can get this on and see whether or not I fixed it or just have something else to go get. All right, daylight is running low, so we just got back from O'Reilly. We are going to go ahead and get this new part on and see whether or not this works. All right, no sense in wasting daylight. We got that on, and like I said, the only other thing that I wanted to do, and O'Reilly didn't have it, was actually the temperature control switch. And the reason why I wanted to do that as well is because there were a lot of people that said online that that specific part and piece you know, tends to wear out and get hot. And I already had one electrical fire in one of my vehicles recently, and I'd like to not have another one if I can help it. So, but since they didn't have it, I'll order it online sometime. But now we're gonna go ahead and fire things up and see what we get. Alright, so let's put it on vent first. Oh yeah, that feels hot. Maybe? I mean, I guess the car did just warm up, so hold on a sec. Get rid of that incessant beeping sound. Alright, we're going from hot to cold. Not really feeling a difference, which is a bummer. I'll put it on max and then I'll check to see if the AC compressor is actually turning on, because my guess is that it's the switch inside of here, because this is not really affecting anything. It doesn't seem like. It doesn't matter where you have it. Yeah, so I think like right now this should be on low. There's like nothing moving out at all. It doesn't really kick on till there. Yeah, so we'll leave it on high. Let me check the compressor real quick. Yeah, compressor's not moving, so all right, well, we tried, and my guess is that it's gonna be something with those two, the temperature control switch and the fan switch. So I'll get those ordered up. I already know how to take the dash off because I had to do that back in, goodness, video a long time ago. That was specifically about redoing the dash lights. So I've already had to do that once before. At least I know that that part is not rusted and nasty anymore. The only other thing that I could have done there was replace the actual the plug. But I think for now I'll buy those two get those two switches from online, get them shipped in, and then yeah, I don't know. I might send them out to the camp, because if I can get them there in a couple of days, maybe one of the days I can jump in there just in case, or just so Ethan and I maybe don't have to swelter in the heat from New York to Pennsylvania and then from Pennsylvania home, because Pennsylvania home is going to be a Sunday afternoon trip to evening, so that one could get pretty unbearably hot. So anyway, thanks for watching another crazy episode of trying to figure stuff out, and we haven't figured it out yet, but we're going to. So keep watching, and once I know how to fix it, you're gonna know it too. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.